On the escalator again.
Leave it alone.
What?
Comics.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
TV and movies. Wrestling. Music.
We are just getting started!
Finally, a podcast about things you actually care about, hosted by a couple of guys who actually care about those things too.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Maybe a little too much.
Yes, that's awesome.
The talented one, Chris Machete.
That no-talent ass clown became famous.
And Brenton, you know, that guy from your other favorite podcast.
I liked it. I was good at it.
So grab onto the handrail and don't let go.
I'm gonna get a medic! There's a little boy caught the escalator!
This is the Kids on the Escalator podcast.
Woo!
Here's CM and BD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hi.
Yo, you know, that little thing that Mike did at the end there, it's like the show's about to begin. It's like, it's right there. And we got the whole thing. It's like, it's a good feeling. It's got a nice little ring, a nice little flow to it. I like it. It kind of welcomes people to the thing. You know what I'm saying?
You want to be welcome to the thing.
It's a Wednesday night. It's not Monday.
Nope.
It's not
We're
Monday.
giving it a goo on Wednesday.
Or it's not Monday. It's Wednesday. Things are a little different. It was a birthday on Monday for
my wife had a birthday.
lovely
Happy
wife.
birthday, Lonnie. Way to go.
So, you know, you don't do shows on the birthday. So happy birthday, Lonnie. And then we decided to go Wednesday, you know, the kid on the Dean Blundell network. That is now we're probably now the most we're probably hated here now too, as well as Saudi Arabia, because Dean is on fire this week and has gone number one. The whole network has gone number one.
Has it really? Wow. Way to go, Dean. Congratulations.
Well, I'm sure he's
Holy
assuming,
cow.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's gone nuts. He trended number one in Canada yesterday, mostly because he called Randy Haley a Russian, and good for you, Dean. And it's woo-wee. Anyway, so I wrote an article this week about just starting a podcast and all that stuff. Dean retweets it in my inbox. Yeah, you asshole for being on that network and blah, blah, blah. So, it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and it's only the Christians coming for me. So, hello, Christians. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And it's great.
Yeah, I had a discussion with my parents, of all things, with my parents, trying to bring them up to date with Christianity these days and stuff, and the way it's, really, because they need to know. They were, and my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. They know the conversation we had. No, but it was just because they're older, so they're thinking of it back the way that people used to look at it. You know what I mean? But it's not like that anymore, man. Wow, it seems like all the Christians are the ones that are toting the guns and stuff these days. And
listen,
but here's a funny thing though. But again, you look at the Bible, and there's one thing that my wife. How long did it say that it took them to cross the desert there? You know, how many days and this and that and the other.
27 minutes. I'm not sure. I've never.
But it took days and days to cross the desert, right?
Yeah.
You Google it, and it didn't take that long. Come on.
Google's right.
A lot of it is fear tactics that have been in religion, and they have been since. I love the history of religion, because it always shows you how much it started with fear, and that's just my opinion. I don't know.
It's been
I'm a
an
really
interesting
easygoing guy, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get involved. You get involved in the politics, so I don't. I step back.
I really don't, other than my post the other day. And my post
you kind of do. You stir the pot a bit. You like to do that occasionally.
Every now and again, I'm going to poke the bear. Speaking of
you're allowed to do that. I was just saying, right? I'm too laid back for that, man. I'm too old.
Hey, dude, what's up? Which one are you calling the bear? Speaking of poking the bear, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the evil wrestling guy to my side?
Jimmy, look at you making your wrestling debut this week. That was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was on the weekend.
What a heel. What's your wrestling name? What did you decide on?
Giant Jim Private Security.
I like it.
That's awesome.
That's gold.
That's really awesome.
Giant Jim. That is the greatest. Wasn't that like when remember Jericho had Jericho Personal Security?
Ralphus. Ralphus was his personal security. Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you ever need a manager or whatever they call it these days, I'll be there.
You ever need a ring announcer?
You
need a ring announcer and a manager.
I'm technically the announcer.
Oh,
sorry, the manager.
Oh, okay.
I'm not actually wrestling. I just we're a heel, so I cheat.
Of course
you do that. That's awesome.
So I distract the ref, or while somebody else is distracting the ref, I hit somebody in the head with nunchucks or something.
Oh, man, I love it.
Somebody's echoing. I'm not sure who it is. Who's got the echo going?
Check.
Check. we sound like we're
all
in
echoing.
some. I don't know. Let's just see here. Let me do this, and we'll do that, and we'll see if it's Mike. Oh, it's Mike. It's
not
Mike.
me, is it? It can't be.
When I put you out, it stopped.
Am I still echoing?
We're back now. Anyways, hello everybody.
Echo.
Jimmy. So I mean, let's listen. Giant. You said giant Jimmy. Was it giant what? No, Jimmy's out. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Let's get
Giant Jim.
Giant Jim.
Private
so
security.
If someone really wants to like get under your skin, do they call you Giant James? Does it get like
no? That's my real name is James, so that's my wrestling handle.
I love it. Love it, buddy. Welcome to Wrestling World, man. Oh man, that's great.
Do you have like a signature move or anything yet? Though I know you're the man, not just I know you're the manager, but do you have like a signature kind of thing you do?
No, I just hit people with either nunchucks or something.
That's a signature move, man. Yeah, that's a signature move right there. Good, I like it.
Boys, it's time to wrap up Boba Fett. Mike's got to go because he's got to go pick up his child. But we've got we'll kind of run through it, and Chris and I are going to get into some Skeletron stuff. Bonzi Live's coming up next, so we're just going to run a little show today. But yeah, listen, the Book of Boba Fett. We've been talking about it for a few weeks, episode by episode, our thoughts, all the rest of it. None of our predictions came true, really.
Mine did. Cad Bane.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the finale. The finale with the death and the thing and all the rest of it.
Jimmy had the big war. There was a big war.
There was a big war. He called that.
Cad Bane. Cad Bane appeared. So you take what you can get. Mike, did you have anything come in there?
I had nothing. I had nothing. And I was pleasantly surprised by my amount of nothing in that finale. I came around, guys. I came around. You know what? Filoni, he pulled me back in with his episode. And then Rodriguez, he just I think he hammered a great finale in this one.
I really dug it. So okay. Mike, you're gonna go first. So
okay,
let's start with you. We've kind of gone through the gamut of our thoughts overall, but they've wrapped it up. I think it's going in a different direction. I thought the whole thing was going to end. I think we're going to keep going here.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have some weird kind of Phoebe mad about you crossover happening. Friends mad about you crossover. So that's where I'm at. Mike, what'd you think overall towards the end here?
Well, like I said, they pulled me back in, and I read an article where Filoni, he didn't pull a J.J. Abrams a la Lost. He actually had intended to not so much transition, but start the Mandalorian 2.5. Apparently it was part of the plan, and I am not going to doubt him because he brought Cad Bane in, which was, and me being very limited with my Clone Wars background, when Chris had mentioned Cad Bane, I did a little bit of, research on it.
Nice.
And it made complete sense. And when they revealed him, where he did the old showdown with Cobb Vanth in episode 6, I thought, man, like that was probably better than any other reveal. The Luke Skywalker stuff was great. I think the money they invested in getting the guy who did the deep fake stuff post Mandalorian made a huge difference. It's still a little bit jarring. The voice is close, not great, but I thought it looked great. I loved how they sort of meshed all these sort of exterior other properties, Ahsoka coming in. You've got Luke to sort of tie back to Mandalorian. Amazingly done. Episode 7, the Cad Bane, I had just before I watched the episode, saw the deleted scenes from Clone Wars series 7. I think it was season 7, where Cad Bane and young Boba Fett have a duel that I guess is what Cad Bane was referencing in this episode, where you actually see where Boba Fett gets that dent in his helmet.
Right.
Nice.
So I thought, I wish that was actually part of the canon. I don't think it is, but nonetheless, the way they did this, amazing. And I love how they tied back in the Tusken Raiders, that whole thing right at the end where he basically went, Matrix kick ass on Cad Bane with the gaffy stick. I mean, that was, Yeah, they hooked me. And guys, Brent was getting rid of me most of the early episodes because I just wasn't buying into it.
So Jimmy, what did you think of the show?
You know what,
Man.
I will say though, no, they got me back in, and I love how they have set up now. You've set up Ahsoka. You have potentially set up a second season of Book of Boba Fett with the mods, with Cobb Vanth possibly being, the newest leader of the mods. You've got Big K. I mean, it was, they somehow, some way, I should not have doubted Filoni and Favreau because they pulled it off.
You shouldn't have doubted Chris Machete, who told everyone just be fucking patient.
I know.
Everyone
I
be
always say
patient.
that, be patient.
But it was
Be
tough.
patient.
It was tough how they set up this series, because we were so used to how Mandalorian was structured that it just seemed a little jarring at first, a little slow. But once they brought in Mando, and once you got past are they bringing them back because they're worried about ratings or worried about fan response? No way, man. They clearly had intent to do what they did and how they did it, and so many great moments, that you're just like Grogu and Mando, like so good. So thumbs up for me. Brent, you no longer have to push the button. I am on board.
What did you think of the Rancor? The Rancor fight?
I loved it. I mean, you
got your wish, Mike.
Yeah,
he turned into a sadistic evil monster like you wanted, Mike.
Yeah, he did.
There's no love there.
The homage to King Kong. I loved that sort of at the end.
We were waiting for it too. It's like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Yeah.
You know what's funny though about that King Kong scene? I also thought what was coming there when he was climbing the thing. Everyone was predicting that Han Solo was going to show up, and I had this feeling in my head. There was two moments there. There was that where he was climbing, and then there was the other one when the two of them, when Boba Fett and the Mandalorian were on the ground, and then there was that pause, and they're going to be defeated, and then then there was like everyone came and they rescued them. But I thought either that was kind of setting up this kind of like moment of maybe Han Solo. But when he was climbing like King Kong, I'm like, here comes the Millennium Falcon. He's going to shoot him off, and that's what it's going to be. He's going to kill the Rancor, and Bubba's going to lose his shit. And that's what I was thinking. But Jimmy,
his fist in the air.
Jimmy, what do you think? Jimmy,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I loved how they did the throwback to Return of the Jedi, where the Rancor ate the one Pike Syndicate guy. Yeah. But I loved the fact that they did find a place to put the Wilhelm scream in when Rancor did the one thing. All you hear is, "La!" So, top shelf, top to bottom.
Jimmy, you're breaking this down tomorrow on your show, the Jedi Jimmy Show, the #1 show. I mean, because you've been on this show. Really? Come on, Jimmy. Jimmy, you got to give it where it's due. I mean, come on.
It was all you guys.
Anyways, congrats, buddy. #1 in the country for Star Wars stuff. Good stuff. All right. Tell us, what did you think, buddy? What did you think?
Holy wow. Like I was like, when like the last episode, when you see Cad Bane's silhouette coming towards you, I peed a little, like, and I was like, and I was screaming at 2:00 in the morning watching this before I went to work. I was screaming in my room, Cad's coming.
Yeah.
And then the fight between him and Boba Fett, and then, as you said, Boba Fett and the gaffy stick. And I knew Boba Fett was going to come in riding the Rancor. I knew, he says, I'm going to get help, and I knew he was coming back with the Rancor.
But not Danny Trejo. So that was weird.
That was disappointing. Yeah. No Danny on this one, but it was something else. I loved every aspect of it. I figured that Grogu wasn't going to be coming back for this episode. I thought he was going to, because the way they ended the last one, I thought he was going to come back at the beginning of the Mandalorian season 3. I didn't see that him coming this episode. And then him connecting with the Rancor to calm it down.
Yeah, and then have a nap beside it.
Snuggling up. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was the whole thing was good. I like the way they for the inexperienced Star Wars viewer, they would see Mando and they would see Boba Fett. Oh, same armor, they're the same same deal, right? But no, they're like like Boba Fett has never pledged to the Mandalorian way. His dad. See, that's the other thing too. Is this whole I don't know what canon they're going to go with. Because Jango Fett led the Mandalorians in the comic book lore. I don't know what they're going to do here, but I love the way they set Boba Fett aside from Mando. Is like, so here's how Mando works. He's very, very this is the way.
Yeah,
tradition. He has to follow all that, and he's his outfit's really clean and prim looking, you know what I mean? And then you got Boba Fett. He's a ragtag bounty hunter. He's not a Mandalorian. So it's cool that you could get that real definition between the two. And wow, what a difference between the two of them. You know what I mean? Even the storytelling, the pace of the storytelling, the whole deal between the two of them, they really separated and showed that, okay, look, these are two totally different characters. And then you see Boba Fett too. He tried being the mayor or whatever he was there, the deity, and
Daimyo.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, and at the end of it, he's like, "Nah, this isn't for me. Nah, I'm not doing this anymore." So yeah, they didn't kill him off. I thought they were going to kill him off. Another thing I thought was funny though was when they showed Mando running, and Mando's like dun dun dun, and then they showed Boba Fett running. The difference between the two of them running was pretty funny. The age between the two of them, right? But I really wanted to see Cad Bane. You guys know that I called Cad Bane before, and I was like you, Jimmy. When I saw him come in, I was just like, what? I was like stoked, and I knew he was going to blow the two dudes away. What was it, Cobb Vanth? How do you pronounce his name? I always forget.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, I think I got it. Okay, so I knew he was going to kill. Well, obviously he didn't kill him. Well, not obviously, but he didn't kill him because we saw him at the end of this episode. But I knew he was going to take those two dudes out. It's like, are you kidding me, Cad Bane? And his voice is just so cowboy. Yeah, man.
And I appreciated that they used Corey Burton, who was the voice of in Clone Wars. They used him for this
same
as
guy.
well. So yeah,
the same
so
guy.
His character was great. I guess there was a lot of uproar on the net about the way he looked. I thought he looked great.
He looked great.
This is one of the
best looking things I've ever seen.
Yeah. See, another thing too is I bet any viewer that is unaware of Cad Bane would think, well, that was quick. They brought him in and killed him off, but there's so much story to go back on. So I was at the whole heartfelt thing of like, wow, man, like he kind of helped raise Boba Fett. He hung out with Boba Fett's dad. It's like, this guy is so important to the story of Boba Fett. It was really good to see him. And then when he killed him, I watched that today and I was like, oh, like I just yelled at
everyone's yelling in their house.
I was like, my wife was watching with me. I just looked at her and went, whoa, like I did not see that coming.
I was kind of hoping Fennec would have killed him because they had a rivalry in Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's
like
excellent.
I would have loved to see Fennec come in and save Boba and take him out. That would have been
Yeah, I was surprised that we didn't see another big guest star, but I was okay with it. I knew Grogu was going to pick the Mandalorian. By the way, we didn't do a show about that, but I was pretty sure.
Which leads me. I had two questions for you, Chris and Jimmy, because you guys are. I'm here. You guys are up here. First,
say that again. Say that again, Mike.
I'm here, and they're up here. What comes to you guys? Oh, wait a minute. He's gone. Oh yeah, and Brent's gone. So anyway,
you fucking.
Okay, good. So anyway, my question is, we had the Darksaber, which I was under the impression that the Darksaber was the be all end all that could cut through anything. Why was it unable to penetrate the shields of the Scorpion droids?
It's the same thing as a lightsaber. They can't penetrate those.
Okay.
Like the lightsaber, they couldn't. The only way they could take them out in the Clone Wars was by using the Force on the droid itself.
Okay. Now the other question I had, since we were talking about Grogu making his choice, was it not in Revenge of the Sith where our hero Obi-Wan Kenobi says in an impassioned speech near the end to young Anakin Skywalker, only a Sith deals in absolutes? Why was Luke giving Grogu the old, it's either the lightsaber or it's Mando? Because that seems Sith to me. So
that's a little.
Personally, I think Luke saw his future. I think he knew he was going to leave. I think he was just saying, you know what? you don't want to be here. I'm going to just let you make your choice and go. I think Grogu's going to get. I think he's going to walk along and pick up that dark saber and just be like, "Yep, whoa, look at this thing, man!" Woo! He's going to be. He'll be the future one. Right? I was surprised that didn't happen. I thought it was going to like fly out of somebody's hand, and he was just going to kind of walk up and pick it up and be like, "Hey, you know, I could see that happening." Yeah,
but I did like how they brought Yoda's lightsaber in episode 6.
I know.
I thought that was very cool too.
Because you're kind of like go back to Mando, little guy, but the other party's like, ooh, whoa, that's Yoda's saber. How can you?
Yeah.
I don't turn that down. So that was cool. That was a tough one, but that was another great point to bring up about the whole absolutes. See, I think Luke was just giving it. No, here, man.
Did
he knew which way he was going to choose?
Did anyone think when he was in that little wagon?
My
did anyone think when he was in that wagon? With and they were having that passion soap opera speech where he's like, "Hey, little buddy, how you doing there? What are you doing here?" Did anyone think for a second that little Grogu might get shot and killed?
No.
Anybody have that feeling? No. I know they're building a franchise around him, but I'm like, there's not that big dramatic kill that we're waiting for.
I thought they were going to kill the Rancor off for a while because he took a lot of shots. But no. So here's another thought. Check this out. So R2 and Grogu again. R2 seems to know everybody in the Star Wars universe, right, guys? They first see each other when they're like in last time there in the last season, right? In Mando, and they're like, "Whoa, hey, it's R2, it's Grogu, good to see you, woohoo!" Do you think that maybe Grogu hid in R2?
I think R2 had something to do with his escape from.
Okay, what's your take on that? I'd like to hear your take on that, Jimmy, because that's what I was thinking. I got a couple ideas,
but I think part of it is because think about it, because Anakin went there and he had his starfighter there. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan, not Anakin, Anakin, and R2 was always in the starfighter, and he always got out and went around and did his thing. Yeah. I think he saw stuff going sideways and helped Grogu, either snuck him out or he went inside him or something. Mm-hmm. Because I thought about it when we were thinking of when they did the invasion of the Order 66, right. and you see all those, like you see Sin Drolig, like the Jedi there. It was one of the ones that were defending him, but they didn't show how he escaped. And I'm 100%. It's
R2's involved,
R2,
right?
100%.
I wonder if that's something they would maybe explore in the next, I mean, at this point, it seems like it's, we've showed you a little bit, maybe you'll forget about it, but I think the diehards would be very curious to know, okay, so how did Grogu actually, survive Order 66?
There's rumors about Mace Windu running around online as well, right? That it was Mace Windu that saved him.
But also the librarian too.
Yeah, she's still alive, right? Darth Vader kills her later on.
This episode had a very Order 66 feel to it. The big turn, and then
but you could kind of see that coming. Yeah, I mean, when they had that, do I have your allegiance that you won't turn on? Yeah, sure. Okay, you're gonna trust. You're gonna trust. What's a Tydo? What are the Bosk guys? What's their
Trandoshans?
Trandoshan. Yeah, you're gonna trust a Trandoshan? Come on, really? Mm-hmm. That was inevitable.
Question for you, Mike, before you got to go. Last question for you. Did you get everything you wanted out of this introduction?
Ultimately, yes, I did. And the only thing that I didn't get out of it was some sort of an acknowledgement to Han Solo. Because this whole series definitely was sort of as we talked about, it was the redemption of Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. And you still, in the grand scheme of the Star Wars universe, to those that didn't follow, Clone Wars or didn't follow any of the Boba Fett stories that came after Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett was a badass. And you know what? He's responsible for, Han Solo and doing all the bad stuff to him. So I kind of wanted a little bit of sort of an acknowledgement to that. Not that it was going to happen. I don't think we were going to get a CGI Harrison Ford coming in to be like, Boba Fett, you're not as bad as you think you are. All is forgiven. No, we're not. I don't think we're going to get that. I think that's one of those, you know what, we can't do everything. But simply the redemption of Boba Fett, I thought it was great. It was slow to start, admittedly, but I guess that's how they structured it. It built to a great crescendo. I thought the big battle, Weequay, who would have thought that Weequay was going to, have his own redemption story from Return of the Jedi, comes back and is, fighting for the, for the honor of Cobb Vanth. So
our poor little pigmen.
Well,
yeah, the Morning Guard.
And we lost our band too, man. Max is gone. They blew Max up.
Yeah. Well, hey, who knows? Maybe Max Rebo had the day off.
Maybe,
you know,
let's
you
hope
just
so.
don't
They were
know.
playing the
Maybe.
jukebox. They had a DJ in that day.
I mean, it could be. It could be. But overall, I thought they again, Filoni and Favreau, they did a really great job. The directors that they had, really how each of them had their own unique sort of play on the whole story. And I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard, her sort of tip back to Phantom Menace. I appreciated that because Phantom Menace really gets a lot of bad guff from most Star Wars fans. When you go back and you get rid of, the whole Jar Jar Binks thing, it's actually not bad. Aside from Jake Lloyd's, horrible acting.
I didn't mind it. I feel bad for Jake Lloyd. That poor guy, man. He got
I
the
know.
shit stick when he got older.
But I bet you they're gonna bring it. Is he's still alive or something, isn't he?
Oh, he's in jail, dude. No,
he's
got
there's no.
That's not.
But
there's no.
It will be interesting how they manage to sort of cross over all these different Disney Plus shows. Some coming, some that we've seen. I'll be very interested to see how they handle Obi-Wan. If we're going to see crossovers from other properties. Or we're going to get some flashbacks because kind of like you were talking about Cad Bane, how it seemed like Cad Bane is a badass and now he's dead, gave me a very Darth Maul feel to it. Like Darth Maul was a badass and he's already dead. Like, so maybe we get to see some sort of, I don't know, Boba Fett flashbacks. We saw those shots of him watching Jango fly off early in the season, which never really was resolved. We never really got a sense of, what that was all about.
Django. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to see maybe a little more of that backstory of why Cad Bane, if you didn't follow Clone Wars, why Cad Bane and Boba had this real sort of thing. Even if they do show, that cutout scene where he gets the shot in the head and gets
maybe it could be a Sopranos dream sequence in the next series, and it's he's just struggling with this whole.
They like their flashbacks, man.
With the CGI, and how they've they're getting better and better each time. And I know a lot of people. There was a lot of backlash online saying, how dare they do this? This is bad for acting, and it's a bad way to go. I thought it was great, perfect fan service. Curious to see how much more they do that in the coming shows. One other thing Chris, I was going to mention, I loved how Ahsoka had that little line when Luke was wavering about Mando and Grogu, and she's like, "You're so much like your father."
Oh, wasn't that awesome? I love that. And again, if you watch the cartoons that Filoni did, man, it's like she was his Padawan, right? Like she was Anakin's Padawan, and then they came out and did that extra season where it's the end of it and it's Order 66 comes to play, and wow, so touched. Yeah, because that's where Filoni started, right? Mike is kind of in there. They gave him control, and it was like, wow, those are really good. If he it was, I always thought, I'd love to see it if he didn't have to like keep kids in mind. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of, and then they gave it to him. They're like, here, not. Yeah. And I remember when we first started doing this, also, Mike, we were talking about Luke coming, and I was like, there's no way that the Disney's gonna say, you know what, guys, we're gonna give you Luke. I couldn't see that coming. So they definitely have faith in him.
Yeah. So who knows? We may still see, an eventual crossover where Big K and Chewbacca, do a little, hey, what's up?
There's still, that's the great thing. You can just keep going on. Mike,
guys, pleasure as always. This was fun.
Buddy.
Thank you for not giving up on me. And I'm glad I didn't give up on Book of Boba Fett because it really was, it really did turn itself around. And I'm looking forward to what they do moving forward, because there's some lot of strings that they can now pull on. So
hey, Mike,
Obi-Wan's coming up, man.
Watch this show. Okay,
what show?
This one here. What?
This
watch one? For the, because remember we told you, just hang on, buddy. Come on.
Yeah,
Come,
just
come on, just
Hey,
hang on.
by the way, Brent, just a quick question for you. Where can we find you right now?
Where can you find me? I'm in
Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina right now.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
I went for a run and I didn't get shot or nothing. So it's
Attaboy.
all good. It's all good.
good.
See you in a
Gentlemen,
couple weeks.
we'll
Thanks,
talk
buddy.
soon. May the force be with you all.
We use the
Cheers,
shorts,
buddy.
but you do that thing. Awesome. There's Mike. You can find him on all the things. He does this intro. He's starting a podcast one day.
Yeah.
But will it be the number one podcast like Jimmy? I'm not sure. After 2 episodes,
Nobody can touch Jimmy.
no one can touch Jimmy. He's to the point where he's now a professional wrestler, and it's all over for all
That
these
is
guys.
awesome. I love wrestling. Sorry, Jimmy. We started this too. We were just talking about things. And there's things I've wanted to be a musician. I want to play in front of a lot of people. I've done that. I played a stadium and did the tour all around. Played musician. I played the role of musician for a decade. And then I wanted to be a comic book artist. I got my own comic book out. But I've wanted two other things I got to do before I die. One is I'd like to be a wrestling manager for just one wrestling match. And the second one is I want to host a game show. So those are the things I got to do before I die. 2 of them I've done. And you think that those would be the hardest ones is, being like a rock star and then being a comic book artist. But yeah, so.
Jimmy,
So
have you been working out? And I see your workouts on TikTok and doing the whole thing. You're getting in shape for your health. But my question is like, are you doing some wrestling school stuff to learn how to take bumps and all that stuff?
I'm not planning on wrestling because I can't. I can't hit my head. I have what's called a
chair
shunt.
shots.
I have a shunt in the back of my head, so basically it's like a piece of plastic that stands between the world and my brain.
Right.
And so I can't get hit. All my purpose is to go in and cheat, either distract the ref or take somebody's knees out, throw something, or
classic heel, right, buddy?
Yeah,
I like that.
Like a couple of things that happened at the last match. One, the ref was distracted. I hit him in the head with my nunchucks, and then one of the guys on the other team were thrown out of the ring, and I was choking him out with my nunchucks. Stuff like that.
It was a fun night. It was a fun night.
Are you a wrestling fan then, Jimmy? You like the WWE, like the older stuff or new stuff or any of it?
I used to follow the old stuff when I was younger.
Me too.
But I'm not a wrestling fan, but I'm a through and through entertainer.
Nice.
Like that's why I'm in radio. That's why I strip. That's why I dress as a leprechaun at a bar.
Yeah.
Like just before I came on this podcast with you, we're doing a bit for the radio station to raise money for a charity where people are sending stripograms to their significant other or bosses or friends or whatever. I had to film 4 and edit them just before I came on here.
Oh man.
Like I'm not a wrestling fan. I like to entertain, so I do almost anything.
That's awesome. Do you edit all? Like I noticed that you got a lot of graphics on your videos now. Do you do all that yourself?
Some. But Army Chris, he does the Fire for Effect podcast also on the Dean Blundell network.
Yeah.
And he actually, I use his apartment, like his house. He's got a whole studio with a green screen and fancy mics and all that kind of stuff. So I film it there and then he helps me edit it. Like, I'm not sure how to do the green screen thing. So
right.
Like I can do a lot of editing. There's just some things I haven't quite figured out yet. And he helps me with that. So he is that part of my
it's looking good,
show.
dude. It really looks
that's
good.
why I was
really
impressed by the graphs and stuff. See, I can draw, but I can't put things into the computer and make it work. My wife does all that stuff. I don't have a clue what's going on with that, but yeah, looks cool.
Jimmy, what'd you think of overall? Like, did you get everything you wanted out of this series?
I was kind of hoping in this episode. I think the reason why it didn't happen is I didn't say it out loud. Is I kind of wanted the Bad Batch to kind of show up.
Nice. That would have been cool.
With Omega. Boba Fett's sister that he doesn't know about. That would have been mind blowing,
dude.
That that might happen in the next season. You don't know, but that's the one thing that didn't happen. I thought some of the other bounty hunters were going to come in and stuff, but the Cad Bane, I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs at 2:15 a.m. yesterday.
That's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting where they go. I love, I had such a good feeling through this whole series. It was the nostalgia I need. Mando was like the new, like a new thing, like that feeling. I think you touched on it, Chris, last week with like Rogue One. So Rogue One had that kind of like, it was lived within the universe, but it was new. Like it was this kind of new thing. This was new but old. I had that feeling of like, there's Tatooine. This thing they're doing all the things that I want here. As a fan of the original stuff, it touched on everything for me.
I love the long shots of the
Yeah.
city, man. It was
Yeah. It just did
cool.
all the things right that I wanted. And as I said, I think I touched halfway into it. I was loving it more than the Mando, but now they're all kind of the same. It'd be like Seinfeld airing, and then right after it's Kramer having.
So
his
you
own
got that.
show.
It almost seemed like they were making a point, as I mentioned, like my Aussie hand and my no hand, like to separate the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, to make it clear that like these just to the common, like the people that aren't privy to all the information, and they're like, oh yeah, well they're the same. They're both Mandalorians. Blah 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 blah. No, they're not. They are two totally different people. And then that's a good point, Brent. I think they really tried to pop that out. If not, that's a lucky bounce.
Well,
right?
but you can run like an Arrowverse. You can run it like, where you keep intertwined. You can have two of the same shows happening at the same time in the same galaxy, and eventually they're going to come to one big head. Jimmy, thoughts on that? Like, do you think if they were to keep both of these stories going at the same time, where would it end up? Where would it would be like lead towards one big grand finale of The Mandalorian? Or is it sort of like the Boba Fett would end and then it would switch? Or would they run both of them in at the same time?
I know that, like, just because of how they hinted in the first was that episode 3 when he was talking to the armorer and then no, I don't know what episode 5 I think it was. And she said, in order for you to be redeemed as a Mandalorian, you have to go to Mandalore. I think they're like,
right. That's a great point.
Because I think what's going to end up happening, like this crossover moment that you're talking about, is he's going to, in the next season, Mando's going to hook up with you know who I'm thinking of. Bo-Katan. And they're going to try and fight for Mandalore.
Yeah.
And they're going to need Boba's help.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then he has to go to the baths under Mandalore or something in order to be redeemed because he took his mask off.
Right. Yeah, I could see them going to because if they take everything back to Mandalore and then Grogu gets exposed to possibly being the guy who should get the saber. There's what else I was thinking there. But I could see them.
But in order for Grogu to get the saber and have the respect, he has to fight the owner of the saber. So if he takes control over the saber, he has to fight Mando for it.
Yeah.
Unless someone takes out Mando and Grogu takes him out in order to get the saber back.
Right.
Because remember, Bo-Katan lost it because she was given it by Sabine. She didn't earn it. So that's why they.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it's going to be the whole chosen thing, and they'll because you know how sometimes as things evolve, they kind of say, okay, well, if it was in the heat of battle and Grogu picked it up and could wield it everywhere, I could see that being a sidestep. But yeah, I totally forgot that you have to fight him to get it. The other thing that I would love to see, Jimmy, is if they hit Mandalore, we see more about Jango Fett, because he could turn out to be like this idol that the Mandalorians all worship as well, which would make Boba Fett, in the eyes of the Mandalorians, special as well. So that would be a cool turning point.
But the thing is, though, is Bo-Katan had no respect for Jango. Remember, like when they were talking to Boba Fett, and he had no.
Because she was with what did they call it in the cartoon? They called it something different, right? The Death Watch.
The Death Watch.
And yeah, right? Because they wanted to go back to the original Mandalorian way. So that we're going to see a clash between the two, which would be so cool.
But in this one, they're not going into the whole thing where she's part of the Death Watch, because that's what Amanda was part of the Children of the Watch, who she says are fanatics that are, you know, wanting to get back to the old ways. Like, she was kind of dissing the whole Mando and not taking his helmet off thing when she was talking to him.
So that's why I'm saying, like, they may come to this whole new age, like, because you got the two different societies of it and the way they look at it. They all head back to Mandalore, and I don't know what they could do. Something's gonna happen. I'm thinking Grogu's gonna bring them all together somehow. You know what I mean? Because the thing too is this is going to go back to the original Mandalorian Jedi who created the Darksaber.
Yes, I think there's an essence there, or Grogu could become a Mandalorian Jedi, build his own lightsaber. He's already got the Force powers.
He could start a whole new way.
You saw how badass he actually kind of was in this one with his powers, and he wasn't fainting every second time until, you know, he decided to take a nap with the Rancor.
He did have a little nap with the Rancor here, which was a nice
Check this
moment.
out. So the end of the next Mandalorian, they both sides have a battle. It turns out that Grogu is the way of the future. It zooms in on Mando, and he says, "This is the new way."
Oh,
and there we go. There we go.
And then it's time for Obi-Wan, and there's all that coming. There's so many things coming.
There was those hints at General Thrawn being brought in this whole.
That was in Mandalorian, right? They talked
about that. But I don't think General Thrawn's coming until Ahsoka. Because they've already hinted that Sabine Wren and possibly Ezra are being cast for that series, and so they're going to bring in Thrawn.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're. See, now they're also. I heard all these announcements that they have a guideline for the new Star Wars movies. I'm wondering if maybe they're going to hold on to Thrawn for the Star Wars movies. Great character, great layers. You know what I mean?
But the way that they did that one episode though with Ahsoka, where she's like, "Where's Thrawn?" Because she's trying to find Thrawn because he disappeared at the same time as Ezra.
Yes, he has Ezra, right? So they're together. So that's why she wants to find him. Yeah, I'm just trying to poke at who would be this new big villain, or if they're going to come up with somebody new, like for the movies, right? Because who would you pick for a new baddie for the movies?
Keeping in mind, do they have to stick to the books and all that rest of it?
No, they can do whatever they want. It's Star Wars. It's, you know, no, I'm just saying that but they're not that creative either. We found out how creative they were on the last three movies. You know what I mean? Like, they had two characters in there that were totally useless out of the four main ones, right? Like, yeah.
There's so many baddies that they could choose from. Like, are they gonna? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, are they gonna introduce?
Why can't they go off of the last thing with like go back to
Rey?
kids? Well, with Rey, but like Rey's left, and then maybe it's 30 years later, and Rey is got some, you know, child that I guess it's too much like the other one, but like maybe Rey's origin story continues and we actually learn that she's a Kenobi and there's a whole thing. Like, would they do that?
It's a tough gig to follow up that, because, like, you know, first you're following up greatness with the newest trilogy. They were following up greatness. Now they're following up stuff that like people like me are poking holes through left and right. And they also pissed on everybody's hero, Luke Skywalker, in the one movie that he was in. It was horrible. So that's a nerve-wracking thing for this next person. That's I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to say, hey, Jimmy. Like, because it's daring. Like, because if this flops, if the next person that picks this up has everybody in the Star Wars community going, "You suck, you didn't do this, you didn't do that," then man, what are they gonna do?
But are they gonna do an origin story of what's his face, the villain from the first two of the
Darth Maul? You got Darth Maul.
No, the ones with Rey, the villain, and like the You know who I'm thinking about?
Oh
The clone, the guy with the scaly face.
Oh, Palpatine?
no, Snook or Sook
Oh,
or
Snoke? Schnook?
Snoke.
Snoke.
They could easily do like a because this is in the right time frame to have him come in as a villain, starting as a villain.
Mhm.
If he's a clone of the bad clone of the Emperor or not, like there's a lot to that story that you don't know of his growth
Yeah.
to becoming the big baddie at
Do
that
you read any of the
time.
comic books, Jimmy?
No, not the newer
Oh,
stuff. Like the
okay.
old stuff, I read some of the older books, but I haven't touched
So the
into
newer
any of
ones,
that.
the newer ones. Do you know? So do you know how in canon in the comic book? Do you know how they've started cloning Jedi's? How they figured out how to do Snoke or Snook or whatever? Do you know how that happened?
No.
Okay, this is great, Jim. You're going to want to start buying the comic books. 'Cause what they're doing is they're going in between. First, they went in between Star Wars and Empire. Now they're going in between Empire and Return of. So when Darth Vader cut off Luke Skywalker's hand, it fell down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Who do you think retrieved it? Palpatine. So Palpatine retrieved Luke's hand, put it in this bubbly jar, experimented with his hand. That's how he came to produce Snoke. That's how he came to clone himself, was through Luke's hand. How
Don't they
cool is
touch
that?
on that in The Mandalorian?
I don't know. I just know it from the
They
comic
did.
books. It's
No,
sensational.
they kind of no. In the Mandalorian, they were talking about because when they were doing the thing, because they were trying to clone Grogu, they were trying to
Right.
use some of his genes to help give Force abilities to other clones.
Because his force level was up here, right? Like those whatever Yoda's whatever the
But I
whatever
thought they said that in the I thought they I thought they said in those Mandalorian episodes, and I almost remembered it was when they were where they were storing the speeders. Remember that? And they were there and they were
they
trying to
talked
have
about
that.
Luke's hand.
Well, they had the experimental clones
No,
in there.
that's when they were trying to blow up that base. You're talking the base.
Yeah, but I
on,
thought that they touched on it in there, and they said they've already cloned before, and that they were
but they
referring
all
to Luke's
but they
hand.
all failed.
Yeah,
But
okay.
they were failing,
I
and
just
then
remember it. Maybe Chris talked about it before, but I
Well,
just
it's in a
remember that
comic book. But
story.
the other one, Jimmy, that's cool is there's a limited series of man, I'm forgetting words tonight too. Rey and Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Okay. So it's a limited series of Kylo Ren. So it shows him. It shows that whole missing part of him at the Skywalker Academy, Jimmy. It's awesome. Like it shows that whole thing of why he turned, the whole growing up of him and how he taught him to and how he tricked him to turn on Luke. Man, it's 5 issues. You can get it in a trade paperback, and it's canon. It's canon, but it is great storytelling, man. Really, really good. Because there's no rules in the comic books either, right? Like they give it to the guy, and they're great writers, man. These comic book writers are friggin' awesome.
You know,
they're the ones
funny,
who wrote all this Marvel stuff back in the 70s, right? That's what all these stories for Marvel that all these kids and adults are loving were written back in the 70s and 60s, like the basis of all these stories. It's great.
You know what's funny, Chris, about that? Your point about that is that I had a point and I've just forgotten it. Jimmy, go ahead. I had a whole thing there about this.
You should check out those comics, Jimmy. They're awesome, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
What was it? Oh my God, I had it in my brain. Anyways, Jimmy. All right, buddy. We'll let you get out of here. So you've got the Jedi Jimmy podcast, which is blowing up as we mentioned. There it is. There's the graphics, totally rad. But more importantly, you have this amazing cause coming up.
Yeah,
that you are doing with your gang, with my good friend Mercedes, a co-host of my other show that I do sometimes. She is fabulous and a great ambassador for the cause. So why don't you tell us about the pink shirt day discussion that you're having?
I'm so excited about this, and it's as I get closer to kind of the reality is hitting and going, like the whole anti-bullying thing on my part is I'm very passionate about it. I was bullied extensively as a kid. I still get name calling and all that crap now, but it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And the whole thing with this, and this year we're taking it to not only a different level, bringing all these other great people in that have awesome stories, and we're taking these messages to kids that I wish I was one of those kids when I was younger. I wish this happened when I was a kid, people coming in and giving the, message of hope or of anything. And so it's on February 23rd. Where it's streaming it. It's going to be actually through Restream, and it's going to be on the Dean Blundell network everywhere. And it's you can sign up for it, and it's so cool. If you want to sign up, you can go to 95.7 Cruise FM, and there's a link to sign up. And there's no limits. It doesn't matter where you are or anything. And it's 11 a.m. on the 23rd Mountain Time. So, and
look at how clean cut you are in that picture, my friend. Look at
yeah. And Jimmy, can people donate to the cause? Like, can people donate money and all the rest of it to help, or is it going to a thing? Or just a discussion?
It's just a discussion. There's no charity angle to this. It's just basically a discussion. It's an information session
kind of thing.
Because I know last year, for years I've been going to schools just like one at a time, going and talking about bullying. And then last year with COVID, this is the one great thing that came out of COVID was I had to do it on Zoom. And then I went from doing one classroom on Pink Shirt Day to doing 90. And then now we're doing, and that was just in the Edmonton or greater Edmonton area. And now we're going, you can get it anywhere, and it's going to be streaming through everything. And
Jimmy, is there a cause that this awareness of Pink Shirt Day, obviously we want to get out there. But if people could donate money to a cause that's near and dear to your heart, that supported you and helped you through that, is there
maybe this specific program wasn't around when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I don't think they even had phones. But Kids Help Phone is a good one, and I think that's a national charity, and it's like a hotline for if you are struggling with bullying or you are depressed or any of those things, and they're there to help, and that's a big thing. And then there's a lot of groups that help with counseling and stuff like that.
So Jimmy, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna do something for you here. We're gonna do something for you here. All right. Not only is it Pink Shirt Day, February 23rd is my birthday. Hey. So here's the thing. Facebook allows you to pick a charity, right? So people are like, I don't know if you've seen them pop up on Facebook. It's like, hey, your birthday's coming. Do you want to push people to something or whatever? So here's what I want to do, and from us at Kids on the Escalator and all the rest of it, because Mercedes is a great friend of mine. Jimmy, you're a great friend of the show, and we're a massive supporter of your cause. So for my birthday this year on February 23rd, I'm going to point everybody to the Kids Help Phone for donations, and we're going to push this thing like that. And I'm going to start it with $250 from my side to get it going. And then we're going to start challenging people. And hopefully by the end of your campaign, we'll tell Mercedes, we'll get everybody going, Dean, everybody. Maybe we can raise some money for the Kids Help Phone.
Nice.
And their people, and we'll do it, the donation on behalf of you and your cause and everything that you're doing. So we're happy to help.
That's so cool. Brother. That's awesome.
So let's do that. Let's do that. So everyone listening right now, check us out online. The graphic is up. Pink Shirt Day discussion. Jimmy with Jesse Lumsden, Mercedes Nickel, Kelly Farlado. They are going to be discussing, bullying, not to bully, all the rest of it. It's my birthday. I am choosing that day to pick Kids Help Phone. And if you guys support this show, the Kids on the Escalator, please make a donation in the name of Jedi Jimmy. And let's get this thing going. Yeah. And the Kids on the Escalator, we're going to start with $250, buddy. Okay.
Deals. Awesome. Thank you, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on the show, man.
Oh,
and
I've also, sorry, I have a picture to send you too, Jim. I just got to get around to sending it off to you there.
You should give him a little preview. You got there?
I was during when it was talking, I was reaching over, and I'm in the coloring room here. And I don't
go get it. We'll take a second.
Go get it. My wife looks over at. I have no idea where it is, dude.
It's going to be awesome, Jimmy. You'll love it.
Trust me. When my wife puts something somewhere, I'm not going to find it.
Be sure to check out Jedi Jimmy on the Dean Blundell Network and everywhere where you get your pods. and support Jimmy's cause, which is Pink Shirt Day on February 23rd, streaming everywhere at 11 a.m. We are going to start. I'm going to make an announcement. I guess maybe next Monday. I'll start next Monday saying that that's my cause. It's a kids help phone. And I want everybody to make a donation on behalf of Jedi Jimmy, specifically Jedi Jimmy, so we know where it's coming from.
Yes.
In the name of Jedi Jimmy, and let's raise some money for the Kids Help Phone so people don't get bullied, because I was bullied as a kid and it drove me crazy, and I barely got through it, man. So thanks, Jimmy, for all your support and putting that together.
Oh, thanks so much, man. This is so cool. Yeah,
great stuff, man.
I love.
Come back to the show anytime, dude. I'm on tour, so you're gonna
really
end up
Jimmy.
Hanging out with Chris maybe on the show.
Keep spreading the word for us, right? Like I love it when anybody that talks about Star Wars and Marvel and stuff and knows what they're talking about. I'm behind them 100%, Jimmy, and you're one of those guys, brother. Cheers, man.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, Jimmy. Thanks, buddy. Take care, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, buddy. Dude. Awesome. That's James P. White from the Jedi Jimmy podcast and 95.7 Cruise FM at Edmonton. They got the best morning show in the country.
Yeah, that was great. I gotta say, I got cobwebs. We don't usually do the show on Wednesday nights. We usually do the show on Monday nights. And the reason I like doing it on Monday nights is because I don't teach. So I came from doing all the like a whole bunch of guitar lessons to this. So I apologize, my brain. I'm still thinking of this Avenged Sevenfold song that I was learning. It's going through my head. And I was teaching Metallica Master of Puppets today, which is a great one. What else was I teaching today? Some Bad Religion. So anyway, yeah. I apologize for the cobwebs, my friend. I'm a little.
It's great. You know what? Star Wars. It's good to go, and everyone's loves.
That was good. Mike was on the ball tonight. Mike was sharp tonight. That was good to have Mike back there.
Mike, welcome back, Mike. You were out, and welcome back. So there you go. These guys might have to jump in with you someday because I'm getting busy out here. But holy shit!
Yeah, we definitely will, man. That's cool.
Fun stuff. Cool. Now, we're going to finish up here before we got about 5 minutes left before Bonzi is live.
We don't want to cut into Bonzi's time.
Nicaragua. He's all the way down in Nicaragua now. That guy is all over the place. He truly is tripping with Bonzi. Yeah. But we got issue 3 coming up, a Skeletron, man. Look at that.
There it is right there. So that's, we're going to have it all, we're editing it right now, like going all over the dialogue and stuff like that. What do you call that? Yeah, the editing, man. It's like, and I'm not good at that. We have to have somebody else do that because I actually thought I edited it, and then I took a picture of a panel to send to somebody, and in this panel, there was 2 spelling mistakes, just one panel. And I've read it over and over, man. I'm just too far inside it. So, last thing you want is a spelling mistake, right? Because that just makes you look like a dumb. Dude, you put a spelling mistake on a Facebook post, and people let you had it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You don't want to do that in print. But this is great, because this is issue 3. We're introducing El Terrifico, that's the wrestler that's holding Skeletron in his hand. It's a metaphor. He's not really that big, and he's taken over this Kingston Penitentiary. And this issue is great because this is heading the way. We're really starting to get a hold of it. The art's getting better. The storytelling's getting insanely better. It's making more sense. There's questions that are being answered as we're going along. And this one is like a dark comedy. Anytime the wrestling groups or the wrestling I forget what I called them because I'm just having a mental day. The wrestling, we call them the organization in the writing room here. The organization, when the wrestling organization is in a comic book, it's dark comedy. These guys are funny, but in kind of a creepy pop off your head and poop down your throat way. You know what I mean? Like they're like Negan's group in, if I could compare them to anybody, they're like Negan's group in Walking Dead, but if they were in the WWF back in the 80s, so they're kind of funny, right? Like, yeah. And I love the colors that my wife's the colors. Great. I love the 80s color scheme for that. Like I told her, I said, I want this to be fun and I want it to look like it's from the 80s. And that's boom. There's what she got for us. So that looks great. I did the drawing and the ink. We do old school. The cover is colored on the computer. So I think we have a nice balance. And you can see she used the little dots. Yeah, thanks, buddy. So that's going to be shipped out, and then we'll have more details as we go along. But the good news is that it's there. It's there. And I'm working on it's funny. So now I'm working on a commission that I just got for, it's Grogu standing in front of a great big Rancor.
Oh, wait. Very cool.
Thanks, Boba
You got to
Fett.
check out. I think you should do a episode on your own, just dedicated to some of the cool commissions that you've had to do. Because
Sure.
man, there's some great stuff that Chris has drawn. You guys got to check
Nice,
it out.
thanks, buddy. Well, if you follow me on TikTok,
Yeah.
you'll see all that stuff all the time as well. I got a great TikTok community, man. Like over 1,000 friends on there that are just awesome when it comes.
What
to
a platform that is! A lot of fun.
TikTok's great. Now everybody's coming over there too. I'm noticing.
It's fastest growing. It's taken over everything. I touched on it in an article I wrote this week about starting a podcast, and it's like,
it's fun.
It's taken over from Instagram, and it's whatever. If you do, friends, do yourself a favor as well. Our friends over at the PP1 podcast are kicking off a show tonight, and they've got a full Star Wars intro.
Oh, great.
Which is going to be pretty cool. So make sure you check out the PP1 podcast for that. Those guys are awesome.
And
Tripping with Bonzi. Tripping with
thank-
Bonzi coming up next on the Dean
Right
Blundell Network here he's all over the world.
And congratulations, Dean, for being the #1 network. I guess we're part of that network. So
yeah.
Hey,
well, he's getting it. It's a whole thing, and he just
no, I know what it is, and
poking the bear.
Good for him. Like good for people who stand up for what they believe in. I'm getting old, and I don't want to fight anymore. You know me, Brent. I used to be that guy that was always in people's faces arguing about anything that I believed in. I was.
Yeah.
I'm done now. I've done my time. It's just not my station in life anymore. So
no, why? Listen, and the thing is like no matter how much negative energy they throw, and I use the term they because listen, for all the people that are on this thing and doing it for what they believe in a cause, and the people that are doing it peacefully, sure, it's your right. Go do your thing. It's your right to say your thing. Thank you for being peaceful. Do your thing. But the ones that are putting the negativity and the hate out there, do you not understand that you're just wasting your energy? You wake up like you're just looking for something to be angry about, and it's like until they get that, they touched on it today on Dean's show. It's like until they get that, they're not satisfied. But you're just wasting your energy. You're wasting that moment. And why? You get one life. Why are we wasting days? Like why are we wasting days?
Here's my small opinion on so out of all those people, a small group of like those hate people. You know what they want? Oh, we just got on TV. Oh, that guy just took a picture of us. Ignore those fuckers. Those Nazi fuckers, you ignore them. Or you call the police on them. But the more you put a light on the hate, the small crowd of the hate, it makes it look huge.
Well,
it's on the internet.
That was a point.
Huge,
that was a point
right?
that was made to me.
No, if you're making a point on a certain thing, that's fine. But if you're just, just like look at this here. This is what they want you to take pictures of them. You have to talk about hate. You have to expose hate, but you got to be careful how you do it, or else you're going to freak everybody out and they're going to take it the wrong way. That's just my piece on there.
Might be. I mean,
we got to get over.
What's to be angry about? But anyways,
but that's what I'm
coming
saying.
Up.
Like it's like those fuckers, man. Those Nazi people that are breeding hate. Don't give them the time of day.
So as mentioned, we are going to come out with more information probably next week about donating to Jimmy's cause.
Attaboy, Jimmy. What a good guy, man.
We're going to do that Pink Shirt Day discussion. We're going to make a donation. It's on my birthday. That's my cause this year. Facebook is giving me the option to pick one. So it'll be the Kids Help Phone on behalf of Jedi Jimmy, because we were all bullied as kids. I hate it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And we, and let's not forget that the kids that are doing the bullying are struggling themselves, right? They got issues within themselves that need to be fixed. They might not want to be a bully, but this is all they know. So let's shine a light on bully and not being a bully and being friendly to the ones that are being a bully. Man. That's Chris. He's in Kingston, Ontario. I am down in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am on tour and I am enjoying life. That is the Kids on the Escalator podcast for a Wednesday.
Bonzi's up.
Bonzi's up live.
Cheers, Bonzi.
Cheers, buddy. Good times.
Red dudes.
All right.